Welcome to our sponsor spotlight. I'm Carla Harris, founder and retreat host of the Gathering of Women. I'm a badass and I'm only human women's retreat. This is a retreat that has been curated with the best in mind for you, the woman who does it all, has it all, but still doesn't find time to take care of herself. We want you to take the moment, 36 hours, to simply woosah, listen to the ocean, and focus only on you. And that's what the Gathering of Women, I'm a Badass and I'm Only Human Women's Retreat is all about. And today we're speaking with sponsor Graciela Laurent, who is our phenomenal boudoir photographer. So we're going to just jump right in and talk about what it means to be in front of a camera and just feel your sexy best. You just think about it like that. You just feel sexy thinking about a boudoir photo shoot, and it's all yours at the retreat. So let's bring in Graciela. Hi there, Graciela. How are you?
Hello, badass Carla. I'm
Oh my gosh.
wonderful.
I love being in the company of badass women. We rock, don't we?
You know what? It takes a bit of effort to declare it, but once it's yours, it is yours, and no one can take that away from you. I love
That
it.
is so, so true. So I am just overjoyed that you're one, going to be a part of this retreat, and two, that you're just providing an opportunity for women to just feel sexy. So let's just jump in it. So tell us about the beauty of boudoir photography and why you decided to add this to your repertoire of services.
Oh, beautiful. What a great question. A lot of people call me and they're like, well, what exactly is boudoir? So I interpret it as intimate portraiture. And for me personally, I always say that I take a picture of who you are and not just what you look like. So, yes, of course, it's photography. I want you to have an image, a portrait, something that you're going to be able to take with you. But it's really about how you feel as a person. So many as women, we have so many different facets to ourselves. Some days we feel Converse and jeans, and some days we feel like a rock star, and some days you're like, I just need a little boost, I forgot I'm a badass. And so having these type of portraits really, it gives you that reminder, it gives you that empowerment, that confidence. It's just really amazing.
Yeah.
I got started, believe it or not, because I had been a portrait photographer for years, and I was thumbing through Barnes and Nobles, and I saw what I consider to be one of the sexiest books ever. And it was called The Art of Boudoir Photography by Krista Miola. And I totally stalked her. I found her on the internet. I ended up taking a course with her. Then I flew to New York to study with her more. And then, you know me, I can't stop myself. I ended up digging myself into her logistics, and she's like, hey, you're pretty good at this. And so then she hired me to come back and work with her again. And anyway, she's been my mentor probably for 10 years. But in that book, she told stories of women whose lives had changed because of this type of photography. It wasn't
Wow.
just a pretty picture for the male gaze. It was a celebration. It was women that were getting divorced, getting married, breast cancer survivors, like women that had been super shy their whole lives and just wanted to come out of their shelves, or women who had had children and kind of forgot what it was like before, BC, before children. So seeing that photography could have that big of an impact on a single person, to me, that sold it. I mean, ever since I read through that book, I was like, I'm in.
Wow. I've known you for a little while now, and I never knew that story. I never knew that that's what ignited that fire in you. Wow.
Yeah,
And I,
it's funny because when I was in high school, I always wanted to be an English teacher. I've always loved books. And so my degree is actually English education, because I always felt that books held secrets. And I think that's probably why I read so much. I literally own 3,000 books. Who even knows at this point? But I always feel like there's something in a book that could change your life. And this was the one book that changed my life, because as soon as I discovered boudoir photography, I'm like, this is it. This is amazing.
Wow. And so, why is it important for women to experience this kind of self love?
Oh, what a great question. There's a lot of ways to love yourself. I find, having experienced a myriad of them myself, I'm getting pretty old. Look at my grays, they're there. So I've experienced a lot of different ways, but I will tell you what I love about photography is that it immediately brings you back to the moment. So
Mhm.
I've had days at the spa. I've had, a day where I took like 2 days to go stay in a hotel room and just like decompress for a bit. And all of these things would have been so much more enhanced had I had a picture to remember how I felt. And that to me is the big key. I find that there's a bit of a disconnect in how we think we look and how we actually look and how other people experience us. So I think the element of photography is really a gateway to understanding how you show up in the world, and I mean, not to get too cheesy, but honestly, how you really do shine, you really do glow. I mean, vitality is a real life thing, and having it documented in a picture is just it to me, it's invaluable.
Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting because, so in all transparency, of course, you did my branding shots, and I mean, it takes a minute, right, to get comfortable. And, in my former long time days, I modeled a bit. But now at this age, right, I'm just like, oh my gosh, can I really do this? And you make it so easy to get into the moment. And I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we know, like you talked about that, it makes women feel good. Tell if you can describe or make it tangible, how does something like that, taking a picture, feeling sexy, how does that boost the confidence of the woman on the other side of the camera?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the big misunderstandings about portrait photography, it's that you walk in, click, click, and you leave. And the experience is so much more than that. And for me, the way that I decide to show up as a portrait photographer.
Mhm.
I'm not here to just document, like I always tell people, if you really know what you look like, go to the Department of Motor Vehicles. That's an honest representation of what you look like.
Oh, yes,
Right?
yes.
But no, but that's not how we experience each other,
Mhm.
Like nowadays everybody takes selfies and they zoom in and then they filter. And I'm like, I'm not zooming in when I see you in person. When I see you in person, I see how alive you are and how excited you are about your project, or how much you love your children, or how good you feel about yourself that day. And so it's all the processes that go with the photo shoot that I think really do provide that confidence. So it's meeting with me in advance and being prepared, knowing what you're going to take, right? That takes away the fear of, ooh, what's it going to be like? Do I even know her? Ooh, is it weird to take off my clothes in front of someone? Like we can work all of those things out.
Mhm.
And having my makeup artist, having a makeup artist there to really get you ready for the day. Oh my God, that's like $1,000,000. I can't even tell you how many people are like, I have eyebrows. Like
Yeah.
right? They're just excited because it's been so long. And frankly, a lot of women have never had their makeup done and they've never had a photo shoot, or the last time they did it, they were 15, or when they got married or something like that. So those pieces all add up. And then on the
Mhm.
day of the photo shoot, I tell everybody, honestly, you see some of these pictures and they're all like, super hot and heavy. And it's really just me yelling, going, arch your back, stand up straighter, breathe, So it's
Yeah.
really just like almost like a girls' night out type of a thing. Like it's just
Mhm.
a lot of fun. And I think through that support and through an honest view of how you really do look, we tend to look at ourselves in the mirror with our shoulders slumped over under horrible lighting. Like, man, you're not ugly. You're just standing in shitty lighting. Like,
Mhm.
go put your
Yeah.
face to a window, feel the sun, get some of that, cool fall breeze going. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. So it's all of those things put together that create the confidence.
Mhm.
If you'll permit me, I'll share a quick story,
Of
super
course.
recent. I have a client who has survived more than a few things in her life, as women our age tend to have experienced. And we put up her boudoir photo shoot on the big screen, so she can see her pictures. And she immediately tears up, just starts bawling,
Mm.
just absolutely cannot control herself. And she keeps saying, I can't believe that's me. I can't believe that's me. And I kind of paused for a second and I said, I want you to know that these pictures are not photoshopped. I never Photoshop people unless they ask me to. It's not my job to tell you that something is good or bad or whatnot with yourself, right? So she's shocked that she looks this way. And so I look at her and I'm like, I just want you to know that my experience of you right now, as you sit here with, she told me that her hair was not right and her makeup was not right. I'm like, you look exactly how you look on screen. And she's like,
Mm.
that's impossible. And I'm like, I promise you, you have so much vitality. You're showing up so excited and so happy that you look exactly how you look on the screen. But she couldn't see that,
Yeah.
because she's like, oh, I didn't do my hair today and my makeup doesn't look great and my this and my that. And so, what I hope and the confidence that I want women to take away is that this is how you show up in the world, right? My camera doesn't lie. The camera is super brutally honest, but
Mm.
putting it together with the right lighting and the right feeling just creates that moment. And I promise you, like, you show up in the world so much more than you think you do.
And we're so super critical of ourselves, in a way that no one else is critical of us. And that's one of the things around the retreat that's so important, is to really be able to embrace who you are and celebrate all that you are. I mean, we are dynamite women, and the world is ready to celebrate us, but when are we ready to celebrate ourselves? And that's what's really important.
Absolutely. And I love that your retreat is going to give women that opportunity, because often all of these, because I identify, so like, I want to be a participant in the retreat as much as I want to be the
Mhm.
photographer, because women that are high achievers, women that are constantly striving, you don't rest. I don't know
That's
about you,
right.
but like, so many times I receive an award for my work product and I'm like, yeah, thanks, thanks. And then I take it, chuck it on a shelf, and I move on, right? Because I'm not,
Yeah.
what am I going to do? Stare? Like, I can't. And so I talk myself out of the celebration.
Mhm.
So I really love that you put something together where women can take a minute and be like, you know what? You're right. I am a badass. I am
That's
really
right.
good at this.
Yep. Yep. That's right. So I have some pictures that I would love for you to talk about. And then I want you to talk about how, what our attendees can expect during the retreat. So
Beautiful.
let's take a look. So
Ah,
this, first of all, is absolutely beautiful.
thank you.
So
Thank
can you tell
you.
us a little bit about her? Now I want folks to know these are not models. These are real people that have been photographed by Graciela. So tell us
Yes,
a little bit about her and
thank
the
you.
setup.
So I will tell you that, first of all, every image on my website is a real person. And the pictures that you have up today, these are all clients of mine that have given me permission to share their pictures. So let's start first with the confidentiality conversation.
Mhm.
I will literally ignore you in Publix unless you give me permission to acknowledge that you are my client. I have a lot of clients that are teachers and politicians and police officers and doctors and people that want their images kept private. And so I know that my name is associated with this type of photography. And so if we're out in the world, I'm not going to acknowledge that you're my client unless you want me to. So all of these pictures that we're going to put up here, they're all with permission. So let's
Yes.
let's start there.
Thank you for that. Mhm.
Well, it's important. And then this particular client, what's really great is that she's in the financial sector, and she has this really straight edge kind of a job. And, she had gone through a major life transition. So taking a day for herself felt like a really big deal. I remember she walked in super nervous. And as you can see, taking a deep breath is a big part of these pictures. We do a
Mhm.
lot of breathing. But what I love about this one in particular is that it really shows that you don't need a lot of stuff. Like sometimes people want to bring a lot of props, which is super cool. And also, you could just bring a simple two-piece set. I mean, these metal pieces on her fingers are just so phenomenal. They just add to the story so much. But it's simple, it's clean. When we say boudoir photography, some people think soft and sweet and romantic, and some people think 50 shades of gray, right? And they're all valid, they're all good. It's just a matter of figuring out what's your style, what do you really enjoy. So
Mhm.
you asked what can folks expect on that day, and I will say that there will be a prep beforehand. So they will get information on how to prepare for the session, we'll have a conversation, I'll guide them on how to do a Pinterest board in a way that really serves them to get ready for their session. And then we'll have our experience. We made a mini sessions. So it's a bit of a taste of what a full session is. It's going to be 45 minutes. They're going to come in with hair and makeup already done. We're going to do a little look at all the clothes, and then just get right into shooting. So we will have met in advance. We're going to be comfortable with each other, and then those 45 minutes are going to be fabulous.
Yeah. So let's take a look at another set of pictures. So here we have two. So talk to us about these.
I love these. I love that these are so different from the one we just saw, because it
Mhm.
really drives home the point that it can be whatever you want it to be. The woman on the left with the red hair, she's in a piece of lingerie, but she's fairly conservatively covered up. There's not a lot showing.
Mhm.
And that's really important to whatever your story wants to be. The other woman, who, by the way, is having in her picture, she's got the view that we're going to have, because these
Mhm.
photo shoots are going to take place in the luxurious Sky Suite at the hotel.
Yes.
I'm so excited. But she's actually wearing a bathing suit,
Mhm.
a bathing
Mhm.
suit with jewelry. Like, what could be more luxurious? So
Yeah.
it's all about what they wanted to celebrate and how they wanted to show up in the world. For me as
Mhm.
a photographer, I'm intentional on what goes into the background. And obviously, we take care of all of the little details to make sure everything looks good. But really, it's about showing up authentically. That's the important part.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, when you register for the retreat, then you will be sent a link to go and schedule your appointments for the actual boudoir session. Now, there is there are limited slots. I think we have 12 slots available that will take place Saturday and Sunday. And because Graciela will be in the retreat during those off times, so she'll have a chance to woosah and reconnect with herself as well. So you must book your boudoir appointments in advance. These are available in addition to the cost of the retreat. So what, Graciela, will they be getting once they book the appointment outside of the actual photography shoot?
Well, let me tell you, this is pretty much like the coupon of the year, if you will. Because I generally do not do mini sessions. It's not a service that I offer on a regular basis. So this is something that is very special for this retreat. I'm bringing with me my 10 years of experience, and of course,
Mhm.
all the great lighting.
Yes.
But we're going to have a pre-session consultation where we have a Zoom call. So those of you that are coming in from out of state, we can have that call super easily. like I mentioned before, I'll teach you how to prepare for the session and how to use Pinterest in a way that benefits you. You'll get 45 minutes in your photography experience. We're going to pick one really great outfit, and you're going to be surprised at all the variety we're going to get with just one outfit. And then, of course, we're going to be using that luxurious sky suite. And then after, we're going to get together again, whether it's in person here at my Fort Lauderdale studio, or we can do it over Zoom if you're out of town, and we'll go over your images. So I will show you a ton of images. You'll narrow down to your favorite ones. Included in this particular experience are 3 digital images. So even if you did nothing else, your first 3 digitals are included. Of course, you have options to extend your products, your digital, your print products. I have these gorgeous, gorgeous albums and portrait boxes. They're all handmade in Italy. So those are all optional. But at a minimum, you'll get the experience, you'll get those 3 digitals. And my guess is that you're going to get a lot more out of that experience than you think.
Oh, absolutely.
The confidence is
Absolutely.
free.
The confidence is free. That's right. The self connection is free. I mean, this is going to be incredible. I am so excited.
I'm
So,
excited.
I just have one question, one last question. I think it's my last. Why was it important for you to be a part of the Gathering of Women retreat?
You know, what a great question. I think what really drew me, number one, is that you have the word badass in the title. But number two, I have a lot. I am my own ideal client, right? A lot of folks come to me and they say, I'm looking for a group to belong to. I'm looking for like-minded women. I'm looking for people to have the conversations that I want to have. And I feel exactly the same way. So when you described to me the group of women that are going to attend this retreat, I thought, man, these are my people. Like, this is who I've been wanting to connect with, like, of course, I want to share my boudoir gifts with everyone, and I want everyone to have this experience. But to be really honest and a little bit selfish, I want to meet women that feel the way I feel. I want to meet women that are in this stage of life that I'm in, and I want to create those connections. My entrepreneurial group is very scattered. There's people with little kids and people with no kids and people with big kids, and I'm looking for people that feel about life the way that I feel about life.
Yeah, yeah,
Women that feel like we're hustling, we need a minute, we're killing it, but I just need a second to breathe. you know?
right.
That's really my impetus to join this particular experience. And honestly, this is a first for me. I take my brand and my work product very seriously, very personally, and I don't collaborate with just anyone. So I appreciate you asking me, and know that the decision was not made lightly.
And I am honored. I have to tell you, I get chills every time I think about it. Oh, and I get emotional too. Um, the group of people, women that are supporting me in this effort, I can't even begin. I can't even begin to, words just don't express my appreciation. Um, you and our speakers, and even the DJ on happy hour night, and just, the collaborative support in this. I am so honored that I'm able to share my vision with other badass women to make this come, because we need this. And I keep saying that because women need to hear that. It's okay. It's okay to say yes to yourself. It's actually okay to say no to your kids too. And it's okay to say no to your partner, and to shut down for a moment and just woosah for yourself. That's really okay. And in our age group, sometimes we're on such the hustle and bustle, especially when we're entrepreneurs, right? We're hustling constantly. I mean, I wake up in the middle of the night, my brain is still hustling because we just are so inspired to do the next thing that we don't often take time to focus on what's now.
Yeah.
So I
And
am so grateful.
so first, I just want to thank you for being bold enough to create this event, because I know that it takes an enormous amount of courage and really love and desire for other women to feel the way that you are going to construct this for them to feel.
Yes.
And I will say that as much as self-care is such a big part of the message, I'd
Mm,
also like to emphasize that you almost have a responsibility to not just yourself to have this experience, but really we're examples for each other. The more I see you living your best life, the more it reminds me to live mine. And
mm,
particularly when I think of my children, I have 14-year-old twins, a boy and a girl. And as much as I even want to focus on my daughter and say, oh, my daughter needs to really see what it's like to take care of yourself and to uplift other women and to be part of a community. My son needs to see that too. You want to
yeah.
talk about raising the next generation of conscious men. You want to talk about, masculine and feminine and toxic masculinity and over, powerful women and all of these things. Like, let's get these things in check and balance by being the example, right? We were
Yeah.
not made to just factory work ourselves into entrepreneurship. Like, what's the point of that?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think it is incumbent upon us to lift each other up, to lift up the next generation by being our best selves, by taking
Mhm.
care of ourselves. I mean, that's why here at the studio, I'm constantly hosting breathwork classes and chakra balancing classes. It's why I'm a Reiki master. Like, all of these things go together, and it's important to, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for everyone else. Do it
Yeah.
because as a woman, I need to know that it's okay for me to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. What a great way to say to end our segment. I mean, because that's so critically important. And thank you again for being a part of this, what I hope will be a life-changing experience. So I'm often, of late, I've been saying, folks, this is not a conference. There are no PowerPoint presentations. This is a time for us to really just have great dynamic conversations. And yes, we have workshops where we have fabulous experts that will be leading our workshops, but the real goal is to have dynamic conversation with one another, to reconnect with others, or and make new friendships. So this is the Gathering of Women Retreat. I'm a badass. Yes. And I'm only human. Yes. And it's taking place March 15th through the 17th, 2024, at the fabulous Pelican Grand Beach Resort on Fort Lauderdale Beach. And we are going to have every kind of topic you can imagine. You have an opportunity to show and embrace your sexy with Graciela and our boudoir photography. We are just excited to have you there. So I'm going to put up our code one more time, because if you use the code BADASS until December 31st, you get 10% off of registration. So, Graciela, thank you again for being here and sharing this time with me. I look forward to seeing you around town, and also just I can't wait till we just transform that Sky Suite into something that will be unforgettable.
It is going to be glorious. I can taste the champagne already.
Oh, yes, I can always taste champagne. All right, until next time, thank you for joining me for our sponsor spotlight.